So today's lesson is going to be basically on knee bars and outside toe holds. It's going to be kind of the crux of what we're learning today. Realize for most competitions, white belts, it's hit and miss what you guys can do. Some competitions allow a lot of knee bars, some don't. Amateur MMA, straight knee, outside toes allowed. So you need to be aware of it if you're getting into that setting. But as you move up, or especially no-gi competitions, a lot of stuff is starting to get more and more allowed. So I have to start introducing it earlier and earlier, it feels like. So I'm sure you guys have learned kind of the basic, boom, I break the guard here, and I come knee up. Now, the first thing we're going to work on is just spinning to that knee bar and a couple of the positional things that you want to focus on. So when I'm here and I come up to this open guard and I'm just working here, I'm going to look to scoop this leg as I pass this hand over his thigh. Now realize when I scoop this hand has to have control of his leg, otherwise you're diving into a triangle. So when I'm here, I'm controlling this thigh forward, my bottom hand scooping at that knee. Now, the way I'm going to rotate my knee around, I want to have my the top of my foot hooked right on the back of his butt cheek here. So when I'm here, I come through and in. Now the big mistake I see a lot of beginners make when they go to do this is they come up to then come down. When I do this, I'm simply spinning around him. So I'm here, boom. Now as I do this, my hand's going to sheet up to the back of his ankle. And when I do this, I'm not pulling a lever towards myself. I'm attaching this to my chest and I spin. But when I attach this here, it's not my arms versus his leg pulling to finish this knee. I'm attaching it to my chest here, leaning back, extending my hips forward. How many of you saw, what was it, Emperor's New Groove? If you're in my age bracket, pull the lever, Kronk, right? We're not pulling the lever. Because if I fight his leg versus my arms, unless you're just that much bigger than your opponent, they're going to be able to leg curl that away from you. So we get the guard broke, or we get here and we're in this open guard position, boom, I spin that round. As I come around here, I'm tightening my knees. Almost like when you finish an arm bar, you pinch your knees, same concept. Top leg at this point has to stay active. So, a couple of options for it. One, just pinching in and kind of hooking into the bucket. Or it can be playing some defense here, kind of keeping that leg locked. But boom, I attach here. I extend my hips slowly, because we're all friends here. And lean back here. What questions do we have on that? Because that's going to be the crux of today, is getting that right.
Hey, Coach. How are you securing that with your arm as you're transitioning from the knee, or from the knee slide?
So boom, I'm here. I'm bringing that up with the big scoop here. And as we get to here, that scoop has to start to cheat up. Because if I stay here, all he's going to do is cross his feet, and he's got your knee bar killed. So as soon as my knee comes around, that's when this is going to come up to that high elbow kind of pinch with my forearm. Because I want to have it right under the ball of his foot here, because that's when you're at the end of that fulcrum and you have more leverage. That's what's going to allow you to pinch here and have him in a bad spot. Other questions on this, guys? Realize we should have questions today. If you're like, oh man, this is a dumb question. No, it's not. I'm not perfect at explaining things.
Can you go one more time?
Oh, absolutely. I'll walk through as many more times. Carol.
What is the sense of urgency?
So sense of urgency is as soon as your knee cuts that center line. So we get the guard open, however, or you start from this open guard. The second I decide that, hey, knee bar is available and I want it or I need that, from here to everything else is sense of urgency. Operative hand is this hand here, the one that scoops in. That's going to be doing the bulk of the work as far as the hands go. But as soon as I go here, boom, sense of urgency is in. And you attack at that point.
Where are you tucking the foot?
So for me, what ends up happening a lot of times is, as I cut through here, the foot that is doing the knee cut should be wrapped in kind of into that hip pocket, side pocket here. I'm just keeping it protected, because the problem that a lot of people run into with footlocks is everyone tries to footlock out of 50-50, which by just the consonants of the name of the position should tell you the problem. We're in an even fight here. A lot of footlocking happens out of this, and the problem is if I can do it to him, he can probably do it to me, which is why I get very tentative to go into, you'll hear it called 1,000 things, 50-50, shootout, outside ashi, 1,000 names for it, but this position here, where we are both equal, and you can knee bar from here, you can do things, but your feet are just as open as his. The benefit of hitting a lot of the footlocks that I like to hit is, most of them are called protected footlocks. So my feet aren't in great position for you to just snatch something out. So when I come through here, boom, not a lot of my feet to grab hold of right here. I'm tucking that foot. Now if the foot slides out, boom, that's fine. Pinch your knees, cross your ankles. But I don't have to worry about him attacking my feet right now. Not unless things go terribly wrong, which we'll go over. Because, that happens sometimes. But, questions on this piece so far? Drill her out. 1, 2, 3. Boom. We're here. I'm working. Boom. Now we're going to start to go over what happens when things go poorly in life. Because unfortunately, people don't suck at jiu-jitsu anymore. They're starting to learn how to defend, and I don't just get to break people's legs for no reason. So I'm here, right? Boom. As I cut through, a lot of people are going to try to follow you. So they're here, boom, and they're going to try to come up. That's perfect. All we're going to do is we're going to let them. As we come here, my foot's going to come to his hip, and I'm going to come to a straight ankle. So you guys all can see this. I'm going to keep spinning, so don't worry. So we're here. Boom. I start to come up. He comes through. I'm going to let him come through. Because the nice part is, my bottom foot already in position. All you have to do is bring the outside foot to his hip. As soon as that hits, we're going to use our feet to control the distance here, guys. The more you can use your feet to control distance, the better off your life is going to be in leg locking world. Boom. I use that to extend him. Tuck my hand under his heel. When you're here, remember, you cannot twist his leg at all. The second I twist his leg, this becomes a heel hook regardless of how your hands are locked. She'll get you DQ'd at 99% of the competitions than you are going to right now. Unless you're me. So, we're here. I want his toes kind of on the back of my armpit and into my tricep. As I'm here, my thumb is going to come to the inside of that ankle. I'm going to grab the fatty part of my hand, leaning back and curling my hands in. So I'm here, curling that hand in as I sit back over. The big mistake I see a lot of people make with this is they try to straight ankle lock other people's calves. They get here and they're like, ah! And they're like, why isn't it working, Dustin? And I'm like, because you're on his calf. Here, lean back. Once you get it right, it's very easy. You can hit it one-handed. You can get them to say nice things, but you won't get that. Twisting their ankle up. But this is going to be that initial reaction off of they go to follow you in this knee bar, right? Because that's pretty common. Is a lot of people will just keep the roll going. Boom. Foot comes out. Hand comes over. I extend. Finish that. Ideal world, you get them sat back to their butt. And you finish this. But you can finish it with them still on their knees there. Now, Dewey's miming going for my ankle, guys. Realize he can have it. Go ahead. Twist it. Extend. My leg's not between his legs. He doesn't have the leverage. You'll win the shootout every time. Now, they pass your ankle over their body, then you get into trouble. As long as your ankle stays on this side, worry about your lock. They're going to have some pressure, but they don't have enough to do anything. Questions on this?
Wouldn't that help you too? Wouldn't that be reaping? They put your ankle across there?
Yeah, if they pull it across and they did it, it's reaping, but it's not a big deal. But the nice part with it is, a lot of people think, oh, his ankle's near my armpit, I can do it. Go ahead, dude, finish it. Nah. Yeah, you don't have the leverage to get it from there, so that's why I like coming here and here, because then it's just a real quick pop.
Is the reaping the motion you come out not to do?
No, so reaping is when, so for those of us who are going to do high-level jiu-jitsu tournaments, reaping is when you're in between the legs. My legs are here, and my outside foot comes over the center of his thigh. That. Because what that does is attacks heel hooks, which for anything other than brown and black belts, or the top level of no-gi, whatever that happens to be, whether it's expert or whatever through that division, most tournaments don't allow that until you're competing either at brown or black belt or versus brown or black belts. So that's why I'm trying to be very specific about putting that foot in the hip and extending. I watched 2 of my students get DQ'd in the same day for it.
Oh.
I only wanted to flip a sport.
But it wasn't their fault. The opponent moved their ankle over.
So you got to be careful about that. That's why you got to be, cognizant of your foot placement there, and make sure you actually place it with a little bit of tension, so they just can't scoop your foot. All right. Other questions on this before I do it again?
I know they have questions. They have trouble when the armpit, finding the armpit, and finding the wrist placement.
So with this ankle here, so we all see it. So see kind of where his toes extend out. I want that to be right where your tricep goes into the armpit. So when I'm there, that's where I want it. If his foot's too far in, like he's putting a boot on here, I don't have the leverage here. So when I'm here, I actually will bite that a little bit with my armpit. Now as far as my hand, everyone feel this little blade on your forearm here. You're a savage, that ends up getting harder and harder over time, right? I want that, the ball of your ankle, trace that with the thumb on the inside, and that's going to be where you want to take your hand. And as soon as you see that little wrist pocket for where your watch band sits, that is where I want to put on the inside of your ankle. Boom. There.
It shouldn't hurt them. Like this hurts just that. It should hurt them before you eat them.
Boom. So once I'm here, that's all it should take. Like if you have to put any more than about a second's worth of pressure before you get a face, you're not always going to get the immediate tap. But the second I look at doing it, I go, I got the face, which tells me I'm in. I just have to hold, right? Like if I'm here and I'm doing all this, and he's calm still, and he's not like in pain, then I know it's not in. But the second I can lock my thumb to where it's supposed to be, you're gonna get a face. It's the natural reaction, unless they're just a fucking serial killer. They're just not gonna. Then you're gonna have a problem reading them. But if not, that's gonna be where you want that. So, looking for the arch of those toes to be right in the pit of my armpit. And a lot of people kind of come over gripping it, where they're trying to grip it with their elbow to lean back. That can work at times, but the more you can make it a hand grip, that's going to give you the articulation you need to finish it. Good? Other questions, guys? Realize we were covering a complicated move set today. If you don't have questions, I'm going to have problems. The roll through?
Yeah. When
Yep.
you roll through, how push your feet push.
So boom, I come through, he's going to follow me up with that roll. This foot's already in place, which is great for me. All I have to do is follow him. All I'm looking for with this is hip pocket and keeping it on that hip bone here. So that way I can sit him back if I need to, or I can pull him in.
And that other foot goes to the butt.
Yeah, I'm just going to, give him a nice little ass slap with my foot there. Here. Here. Other questions on this, guys?
So if you're like at the end of finishing it, and then he throws your leg over at the last second, would that still be reaping?
Depends on if you have a good record. So I always give this speech because it's true. Do the best you can with what you got. Realize that bad refs exist. As long as you're not actively trying to break the rules, hopefully it all shakes out well. You're going to get a bad call occasionally. We can't. Nothing we can do to plan for that. I've seen refs call it both ways. So I watched a guy put the guy's foot across and go, "Oh, he's reaping," and the ref go, "No, he's not. You did that." And I've seen a guy do the exact same thing, push the foot across, and he goes, "Oh, he's reaping," and the ref goes, DQ. So well, I'd love to tell you the world is fair and I'll shake out in the end. It's not. It doesn't always. So
In that situation, is there a good way to recover from that, or did you
if as
let
soon
it
as you
go?
feel your foot go, drag your knee back. So like once I'm here, let's say I get here with Dewey, boom, and Dewey pushes my foot across. I'll pull my foot completely out. Because it's like, look, I'm not trying to reap here. Like that's the, hey, I saw that trying to go the wrong way. And at that point, then I'll just tuck both my feet and try to keep it off the hip. Because he's trying to bait. But that's the best you can hope for is good intentions and good rep.
Sounds like a common thing.
Yeah, so.
I've seen it. It's pretty much cheating.
Alright guys, drill it out. 1, 2, 3. So, we're going to go over one more move, and then I'm going to give you one dirty fighting technique. Because it's not illegal in any rule set, but it is against most people's moral codes. So, we're here, I'm going here. I start to fall through for this, and for whatever reason, it just, knee bar's not in here, it's not working, whatever ends up happening, right? Boom. All we're going to look to do here, guys, is I'm going to look to climb the tree. So I'm here. If you have the pajamas, set a good grip. Use the pajamas when you can. Here. And I'm going to look to come back up here. So top hand is going to grab just under that cap here. Because that's going to give me a good bit of motion to pull here. Here. And I'm going to look to come back up. And I'm going to look to fall over and re-attack the knee. So, how it'll look in reality. Boom, we're working, I'm coming here, it's not working. Boom, I'm going to look to back it over and re-attack. The nice part is here, a lot of people are going to be trying to drop their weight out. And as they do that, it's in already. Because one of two things are going to happen. One, you'll have this hooked with your elbow, and then there's a certain level of violence that's always available, right? Like, I can really crank you. But also, if he does back out, we're back into that second move I taught you where you can go back into the ankle. Now, like I said, with all foot locking seminars, I always like to remind some people of something very important. And no written rule set is tickling illegal. So remember, always it's a joke, but only a little. It's not outlawed any major rule set down aware of. Now, against other people's moral codes to tickle another grown person's feet, but listen, we're here about winning. I said that and I got the weirdest Instagram DM ever when I posted a clip like that. Yeah, there's a whole story there, but some very weird ones, very different clips. Yeah, it was. So we're here. Boom, I go to spin here and it's not working, right? All we're going to look to do, I keep this tight, goes over, fall back. Alright? Now, if you're here, you can look to go back to the knee or back into the ankle. Now, if you're real advanced, that's where you can enter this game, but we're wearing pajamas, so no one's allowed to heel hook regardless of that. Alright? Question on that. Yes, there's not a rule division out there in the world right now that allows you to do yeah. So I will tell you, leg locks for the longest time were very frowned upon. So I started training back in 2009, and leg locks at that point were looked at very much down upon. Like, you're a dirty grappler. No, that was like Bruce Smallpaw wrestled in the UFC at that time. He was soft. The reason he left jiu-jitsu was because he was like considered a dirty fighter. He was a dirty fighter, but not his football. But as the world has progressed, leg locks have become a much more natural part of the game. See differently. But at no point should you ever attack anything outside of straight ankle, straight knee, outside toe. Yes. He would just rip people's shit apart. Yeah. And so, at no point ever when you're training, whether it's live here, elsewhere, I don't care. If you're wearing pajamas, if they allow foot locks there, straight ankle, straight knee, outside toe. Most good jiu-jitsu tournaments allow white belts to straight ankle lock now. Some are starting to allow, most of the time it's straight ankle, then at blue belt you get your straight knee bar, then at purple belt you get outside toe. And then from there up, basically. Now, pajama free, it's the wild west of rules. It really just depends on where you're at. So follow that knee bar back over, drill that out, then we're going to do our promotions, and we're going to get some live rolls. 1, 2, 3.